because there's such an intersection here between health and finance, everybody listening, yes, I'm jumping back and forth, but because, everything is really interrelated. Let me, as we are approaching the top of the hour, I want to ask you, how do you deal with women who come to you for financial help, financial advice, that have challenging money stories?
Mm. Yeah, I think when I have challenging money stories with clients, the first thing that I do is I let them share their truth fully and completely, because I might be only one of two or a very small amount of people that they have ever shared that with, right? And before that, I tell them that not only is it a confidential conversation, right? This is a space where it is safe to be vulnerable and honest about your challenges. One of the questions that I typically ask in these meetings is, what is something that you saw growing up financially that either your family or environment, like whatever happened around you, that you don't want to do going forward? And that typically sparks up quite an unpacking of things that we're seeing. And then I transition into the positive, right? I say, now that you've gotten that all out, what do you want to do going forward that's different? Right. And I think helping people to see that their challenges in their previous state doesn't have to be their story going forward allows them to really step into that new reality. Because a lot of times with health and wealth, right, our stories that we grew up with don't have to be the end result. But because there's a subconscious belief that where we're trying to get to is too far away, that is where the conflict is created, because we see where we're trying to go, but we remember, because for some of us, it wasn't that long ago where we came from, and it seems really far apart, right? But the caveat, like what's the bridge between where you were and where you're going? It is in taking that consistent action and having that belief system in place backed with a plan. And the plan is what creates the possibility of the fact that where you're going. And so it's like, you've shared all this stuff. You told me where you're trying to go. Do you still feel like you're not going to get there if we take X, Y, and Z steps? Does it feel like this conversation today is getting you closer to where you're trying to go? And 100% of the time, everyone says yes.
I so appreciate that you allow women, first of all, that you create that safe space, because, myself included. I mean, people think, oh yeah, she just was born with a silver spoon, or she went to private schools all her life, like, and negative on both counts. I grew up in the inner city and was raised by working class parents.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, there, and things were hard. And that's a lot of what I saw growing up. I didn't have that discussion with my parents that some people in, wealthier situations have, when their kids, are like 18 or 19, like, oh, so I want you to sit down and talk with my financial advisor now that you're entering the workforce. You know what? That didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Yeah, you know what I was doing? I was in college and thinking straight, about what I was going to do after college, and I ended up going straight into law school, with a combination of lots of scholarships, working my butt off, and loans. Okay. Right. Because I didn't have a trust fund that I could, depend on. So that's my story. So in starting a business, in trying to create wealth, that's something that those are the images that, that I bring to my now. Yeah. And I'm sure that, and I really wanted you to touch on that, because I know there are a whole lot of other women like me, who, didn't just come out of the womb with a Birkin bag, right? We had to work. We had to work.
And are still working your tails off.